Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel with my cup of tea this evening as we are getting on to about 7 o'clock in the evening. We do not have rain at the moment, but we always have books and reviews, and so you know what, we will always take, we'll just take the one because books and reviews are probably why you all are here. And I'm so glad that you come back. If there's ever a book that you would like me to read and review, please let me know. You're welcome to leave a comment down below or email me. I usually put my email in the beginning and at the end of the episodes. So let's dive into the book of the moment, and it is The Haunting of William Thorn by Ben Alderson. Now, it is expected publication of September 9th, 2025, and it's approximately 400 pages in paperback. I had the audiobook, which was very well done, and I want to say it was somewhere around 12 and a half hours. I could be off by a little bit, but I went through it very quickly and was quite riveted by it. But let's dive into the summary and we'll see why. The Notebook meets The Haunting of Hill House in this split timeline queer twisted love story set against the backdrop of a haunted English manor. William Thorn had his whole life planned out until he discovered his long-term boyfriend Archie in bed with another man. Distraught, William kicks him out of their home, where tragedy strikes when Archie is killed instantly in a car accident. Riddled with guilt, William is shocked to learn that he's inherited a manor in the quaint village of Stonewall, left to him in Archie's will. He leaves the city with plans to make a new start for himself, but is surprised by the rundown state of the manor and the unwelcoming villagers who want him gone. His only ally is Edward, a seemingly friendly local with secrets of his own. What, buddies? Sorry, little Leo is asking for my attention. He's sitting over there giving me the puppy eyes. It's tragic. However, it's not only the villagers who are adverse to his presence. A malevolent spirit roams the manor, one that seeks to drive William out for good. But when he uncovers the heartbreaking tale of two men in love in the 1920s, William strives to find peace for the spirit, ending the haunting once and for all. But what dark secrets lie hidden in the manor walls, and will William be able to put aside his own grief to save his home and his life? An evocative tale from the best-selling author Ben Alderson, exploring grief, trauma, and the bones of the past. The Haunting of William Thorn is perfect for fans of the Gothic. Now, it is horror, Gothic, fantasy, queer, paranormal, romance, and LGBT. I will tell you, this book had me riveted. And I was going back and forth with some of the mysteries, trying to kind of figure them out, as one does when you're presented with a mystery, trying to figure out what was going to be like the twist. I kind of thought I figured it out. When the twist shows up, I almost had to stop the recording. I will not try to dive any further into that particular aspect of it, but just know there is a point and there is a trope that was used that I frequently don't like, and I'm still on the fence as to whether this twist, whether I like it or not. And in fact, the more I talk about this twist, the one that would almost make me stop the listening, stop listening as in like stop and listen and kind of consume it, or like not just put it away forever, but pause it in order to kind of catch up with myself. It is a trope I don't enjoy. And I don't think I liked it. Like that aspect. Everything else had me hooked. But that one particular thing, I don't think I liked it. And so I'm not 100% certain why the author chose that. And I mean, I could probably go round and round with myself about like the justification of why the author chose that particular twist to go with. But I was really like, I was toying with some other aspects that, I don't know, that was just my personal thinking. But hold just a moment while I go grab little Leo. But let us dive back in. We've got little Leo here. He is doing good. Yesterday he did have to go to the vet. He had a little infection in his ears, so we got him some drops. And I do think he's already feeling a little better after getting some relief for not having itchy ears. So he's doing great. But oh well, the vet did say he's chunky, so this little guy needs to lose some weight. He's a chunky guy. But back to William and Edward. Now, the way they meet is incredibly aggressive. William has just made it to the manor. He's dozing off, and I don't know if he's dozing off on the couch or if he's already slept there like one night. But he hears some banging on the door the next morning, pretty much. And he's like, ugh, what? And he kind of rips the door open. And this dude is standing on the doorstep. And this dude is like, who are you? And he's like, this is my house. What are you doing? And he's like, this isn't your house. And he barges his way into the house. And William is like, WTF? So, of course, he's like railing at the guy, like, get out of my house. I'm going to call the cops. And the guy is... Finally, this guy, he reveals himself to be Edward, and he's like, oh, my bad. And I'm just like, dude, what? It's so weird. Like, and then, like, so he, after a little while of back and forth, William is finally able to get him out of the house. Like, good, because the way this whole scene went down was weird. I can't say that I really liked that scene. Just, it was overly aggressive in some very weird ways. And Edward comes back, and I was just like, okay, Edward, you are kind of crossing a line with me, bud, but okay. And so William lets him back in because it's raging storm outside, and he pushes a bureau in front of the drawing room where he's put Edward into this room. He's like, fine, you can stay in here for until the storm passes. And he pushes a cabinet in front of the doorway, and he goes to sleep. So sometime in the middle of the night, William wakes up, but he finds himself outside in this driving rain, and Edward is like yelling at him. Well, I don't really understand this whole thing, but it almost feels like insta love a little bit. Like, I don't know how we went from raging at each other because, like, they're butting heads over who owns this house or what have you and barging in, but now all of a sudden they're like, they can't sleep without sleeping next to each other. And I'm just like, well, okay, well, that feels a little odd. But the mystery of the story that we talk about with Robert and Teddy from the 1920s was really good, because that's where the ghosty aspects come into play, and that's where I was really riveted. I just wasn't certain, in my personal opinion, about the relationship between William and Edward, but the Robert and Teddy relationship was really cute. And so part of the summary does talk about how it's kind of a timeline skip where we kind of go back and forth. And the way we do that is by reading Robert's journal, where he's writing it knowing that an audience of some sort is going to read it. And so he does refer to the reader. And he's hopeful that the reader will ultimately be Teddy who reads his words, because that's kind of one of the reasons he's writing it. But they seem to have a really loving, deep relationship, and I'm just so very curious as to this William Edward situation, because it does not feel nearly as healthy of a relationship. It, like I said, kind of lists this forced proximity, as someone says, because I guess they're trapped inside this house with each other, And I'm just like, just send him home. Like, I don't care. But there are so many secrets between the two of them. Um, and I just was just like, well, we can't build a relationship on lies. We live on a throne of lies, I guess. Um, and so I just was like, frustrated. And then the haunting stuff, like, William continues to have bad dreams and continues to wake up in all of these weird places. And there's just one particular point that I was just like, okay, okay. I was really like, I gave this book a 4 star. I really did, because I was riveted and I needed to know what was going to happen next. I love The Haunting of Hill House. Did not love The Notebook. I found The Notebook to be kind of a toxic sort of relationship. Did not think that was a very good, healthy relationship in any way. Which is why I think I see these characters and I'm just like, this is not a very healthy relationship between William and Edward. There's a lot of not only some codependency, but secrets. And secrets don't make friends, and they don't make very good relationships either. So all of that to say is that we like we had a lot that we needed to work through. The spooky parts of the book were very well done and very good. I think I could have done with a little less romance between Edward and William pining for each other, like in secret. Well, it's not really in secret. They have a lot of like comments and quips towards each other. But also, there is a lot of interwoven story. We get a little more information about the accident that kills Archie. We get some background on Edward. We already kind of know William. William seems to be probably the most clear-cut character. After the death of his partner, he went through a really dark time, a really dark place. A neighbor found him, was able to get him help. He went into rehab for a little while, and he's still kind of in a depressive area. And he has come to this house because this was the house that he and Archie were supposed to kind of live a happily ever after in. However, seeing it in its current state is kind of seeing it in a state before Archie could actually fix it up for it to be their forever home. I will say some of it felt pretty spooky and some of it felt kind of campy. I guess I'm not too mad about campy horror, but there's a couple moments that in hindsight I was just like, oh no, okay, is that what we did? But all in all, I was pretty intrigued. Like I said, I went ahead and gave this book 4 stars because, again, I was fairly hooked to wanting to know how everything was going to play out. I was very surprised by the ending, and I still think I'm mad about it. I'm just going to leave it there. And this book is definitely about grief and trauma. It is about loss. It is about trying to work through those hard things. And I'm not fully sure if we worked through all those hard things. I'm not sure. But I think with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. I know I've talked on a little bit about this book. But again, I do believe that... I'm just scrolling through the Goodreads comments real quick just to see if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about. Some people said they felt like crying after reading it. Some said how the twist really got them. Other people said they DNF'd it because the grammar errors were driving them crazy. I had an audiobook, so I didn't pick up on grammar errors. But that's just like I can't comment too much about the ebook because I did, like I said, have the audiobook. Thought that was really well delivered by the narrator. And then this other person says it was intense and almost melodramatic. And honestly, that's pretty accurate. It's kind of melodramatic. They said the middle part dragged, which I absolutely agree with. I agree that there were parts that were slow. Um, and the sexual tension was now it says there were a few steamy scenes. Trying to think. I think there's fade to black scenes, but honestly, from the audiobook, I don't remember any like steamy scenes. I just remember like, maybe them making out or something, but anything beyond that was more of like a behind a closed door or fade to black. So there you go. And but yeah, there was that insta crush thing that just kind of felt these both of these men were dealing with some trauma. Not 100% certain they were in a good place to have a relationship with each other at this particular point. So, but with all of that being said, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you have not liked and subscribed already, then I hope you will. And I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one.